Hey, I'm here to check on my Foia request. I never got a response.
I don't know if she's here. Hold on one second.
Hey, how are you today?
Still blessed. How about you?
Still blessed.
Amen. What's up, Funky Monkey? How you doing? I'm here in Easley checking on my Foia requests. I never received a response, and the law says after 15 days, if you don't receive a response, it's approved. So we'll see what's going on. I have a bad feeling they haven't learned the law yet. South Carolina Auditor, what's up? Rob C. Christian Stromblin, what's up? What's up? Glad y'all join in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, checking on my Foia requests that I never received a response for.
Which one? Which one?
All of it.
Okay. Well, come back
Both.
tomorrow. We're going into a meeting at 5 o'clock. So
No, I ain't coming back tomorrow.
Okay.
Why haven't
All
I
right, have a good day.
received the response, Tommy? You hadn't learned the law yet?
I know the law, brother.
Oh, we're gonna find out.
Have a good day.
15 days, it's automatically approved. That's what the law says. You big dummy.
How you doing? I hadn't seen him.
How you doing?
Is that true?
We're missing one.
How you doing there, Mayor?
If you would you have a seat right there? We're trying to take a picture.
Oh, okay. No problem. I'll join in too.
Well.
Do I need to do more cameras? Is that gonna work? Let me know.
Line 1, how you doing?
Turn it the other way. If you can just flip it all the way around.
That's much better. Yeah. Okay. Smile if you like. One more. And again. Okay, big smile now. All right. That might be the best one. Thank you very much.
Right, sir. All right, good to see you too. Yes, sir. Hey, man, you doing all right?
I'm gonna try to trick you.
Was that everyone?
This one, sideline.
Good man, how you doing? Good to see you. I guess
Mario.
I guess when, I'll just send the photos to Tommy, he can kind of do the rest right for his business. Not picture.
I mean, he got the email.
Okay, I just didn't know if he had said anything.
I haven't heard anything from him.
I'll send you the photos. I don't have one good one. All right.
How are you, sir? See you.
Well, that's usually what happens. They get right up to the start line.
What's up, Buzz? Good to see you. And this is Easley, South Carolina, working meeting before the city council meeting at 7.
Okay, we'll get started with,
No, Rogue, this is the working meeting before.
I apologize, we had to have a picture taken and, no more hair. I'll ask, Councilman Moore if he would return things over the food, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for many blessings. We thank you for being here with us, guide us, direct us, give us the knowledge and ability to come up with the right answer for citizens of Easley. Let us do what's right, Lord. Let us respect each other, work together, give what's best to the city. The city is what it's all about. So let's respect it. We pray in Jesus' sweet name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, our, item 2, presentation by McGriff Insurance Services, and I'll turn it over to Tom if you want.
Yes, sir. We, the mayor and I, and Lisa, have been working with the Griff Insurance Company on possibly getting another quote for the employees' health insurance and all. Y'all remember at budget time, we talked about the insurance company that we're under now, possibly having about an 18% increase and all. So we're just getting another, quotes from this gentleman and his company, and, we'll turn it over to him.
Thank you. Where you gonna walk?
That'd be fine, anywhere right there.
Okay, perfect. Just
It'll
address.
be on 3 TVs.
Oh, y'all can see back here. Okay, perfect. Very
If you
good.
need to use the podium,
You can pull it out.
if you need to use it.
I don't use it against the other.
I don't want to spit on that. All right, thank y'all. I'm Travis Smith. I'm with McGriff Insurance. We are formerly known as BB&T Insurance. We were BB&T Barnes Insurance Service right over the tracks right over here for a number of years. We have rebranded to McGriff Insurance. I'm in the Employee Benefits Division. Yes, as Tommy had mentioned, we have been diligently working with some assistance from Lisa, and thank you for that. Some of the information we needed to provide some proposals. But the purpose of tonight is really just to tell you a little bit of high level of some of the resources and services about McGriff. And we do have some proposal information that we have into this presentation as well. But I thought I'd just kind of open up about McGriff, a little bit about McGriff. Again, just as we were with BB&T, Truist Insurance Holdings, a wholly owned subsidiary of Truist Bank, just as BB&T Insurance was a wholly owned subsidiary of BB&T Bank. Truist is the child of BB&T and SunTrust coming together to form Truist Bank, if you're not aware of that name. But McGriff is no different than what we were with BB&T. We are the 6th largest broker in the country, 7th largest globally. Couple of bullet points there, just about our market presence, gives us some access to every major player in the health insurance industry, along with ancillary benefits as well. The unique model that McGriff plays is, if you think of a large broker, some folks might think, oh, we kind of get lost in the shuffle. We definitely pride on ourselves with being involved with local communities, being involved very much like as a small hometown broker, but you have the backing of very large broker that gives you lots of access to lots of benefits and resources, which I'll get into in just a minute. So, but we were happy to represent the city of Easley for right over 10 years, in which you guys did make a transition to FEMA, which made sense financially at that time. And one thing that we were challenged with is discussing some of the benefits by working with a private broker or private insurance outside of FEMA. Price definitely hits home. We all realize that in today's world. But we also, there's a lot of value comes along with some of the private insurance world as well. So start at the top there, dedicated local service representation. So we're right here in town. We are going to be able to be at every beck and call for your employees or retirees. And I'll get into some of the high level things of maybe behind the scenes here in just a minute. But one thing that we feel like makes us a little different is we're focused not only just on your price, we're thinking, how can we control things long term? Value service model is really our MO. But if you think of outside of FEMA, what you have as options is not just one insurance carrier. And what I mean by that is sometimes part of our job is to leverage your insurance company that you might currently be with against other quotes or other markets that we have access to. So competing insurance companies, that sometimes helps you guys in our negotiations, different funding arrangements. We have lots of clients that are self-funded or partially self-funded, if not call it that, level funded. But one proposal we came to the table with this year was a fully insured model, much like you have now. Different contribution arrangements. We're not saying that you charge any more for your coverage to employees, but you do have those options when you're outside of FEMA. FEMA requires you to have certain contribution arrangements. And then plan design alternatives. So when there's a need to consider other alternatives, maybe a little bit lower deductible and a high deductible health plan. There's a little bit different copay structure you might want to do. And one thing that's actually very competitive this year that we see Aetna is in a partnership with Prisma that we'll get into more detail shortly. If you go to a Prisma facility, you can design your plan to have a better benefit. I'm sorry, for you guys. Have a little bit better benefit structure if you go to Prisma. So there's definitely alternatives there when it comes to plan design, different things of the nature of trying to keep up with the curve of front of the curve of healthcare and the cost of healthcare and the rising costs that we're all dealing with. I did want to put in there open enrollment assistance. One thing Lisa and I talked about a lot was annually we are on site just like we used to do. Nothing's changed there. We go department by department or however you prefer to be holding the hands of employees when it comes to decisions on their health insurance plan for their family, not just with health care, but dental, vision, life, disability, all of those different programs. So that is something we do on an annual basis, and some of our clients even like to do this mid-year, midstream, just as a refresher, because a lot of folks get through their open enrollment, whatever time of year that may be, and truthfully, they try to get through it, don't think about it again until they need it. Sometimes we have claims problems, claims resolutions. Who do you turn to now? Do you have a dedicated customer service rep involved in your account? Multiple. Myself, there's a Will Stewart that would also be involved in your account. Christian and Cato. They could not be here tonight, but they would be involved in your account for the life of partnership. Communication materials. We love to put together benefit booklets, compensation statements, anything to help your employees better understand exactly what you guys are paying so much for on their behalf. Technology, we have benefits administration platforms, things to help your internal staff along with the end user if you roll that out to employees. Claims and risk assessment, and what I mean by that is, yes, we're going to be there to hold an employee's hand if they're having a problem with, hey, we just had a baby and we're not sure what all these bills mean, So we help them walk through that in the stages of what they're gonna come in. Claims and risk assessment is something where we are highly involved with your wellness plan, which we know you guys work with prison. We actually help in some of the involvement in putting those folks here in place at the city. But we work in conjunction with them on how things are gonna play along with your health insurance plan, how we can help control some of the claims. Your claims drive your premium in any case. So we wanna try to be involved in that as much as we can to help offset any, we'll say, controllable risk. And I mentioned again, familiarity, we love to have you guys back, but it has to make sense, right? So we just want to show you all of the advantages of working outside of PIVA and having the group representation. On this page, I'll hit kind of just a couple highlights that were not on that other page. But we already kind of in the strategic planning consulting arrangement, that is just taking your coverage to market. That is the ongoing analysis of your plans. The box we check is being your representation to the market. Obviously being involved in the renewal, client onboarding, all that kind of goes hand in hand with the implementation. One thing I failed to mention on the previous page, but I'll mention it here, you see HR advisory up there. We have on-staff HR professionals. We have, and where that would come into play is when your HR staff or anyone internally has a question about compliance. Prior to healthcare reform in 2008, that was already a complicated area of compliance to stay within, I say stay within ditches. But it has gotten definitely more cumbersome as we have to deal with some of the ACA things and furthermore the rising cost of healthcare and pharmacy. So we want to make sure we are staying in our lane, or keeping you guys within the lane, I'll say it that way, so that you're avoiding any type of compliance issues down the road. But HR advisory on staff, we have ERISA attorneys that are on staff. The city may have their own labor attorney. That is great. We do not get in the way of that. We're not practicing law, but we do have ERISA attorneys that can help lead you guys up to the point of getting your labor attorney involved. A lot of these other points I've already mentioned on the page. Tommy, if you want to go to this last page, it doesn't stop just at healthcare. We have all the ancillary benefits as well. When it comes to your dental, your vision, your life, your disability, we currently still represent your life insurance, your basic life insurance. We currently still represent. But in the event you guys were to look outside or consider outside of PIVA, we can handle the whole arm of your benefits program. That would also include flexible benefits, HRA, or if we would put an HRA in place, put a health savings account in place, flexible spending account, things of that nature. And in the event down the road, we wanted to consider stepping outside of the realm of fully insured, depending on the risk of appetite for risk, we could look at self-funded arrangements and things of that nature as well. Tommy, it looks like that's cut off a little bit. I don't know if it's a Zoom. Okay, I got it right here. Go up one more page on the PIVA option or PIVA medical renewal. All right, so the bottom of this is cut off. I'll need a copy of the work. Happy to send that out. You guys don't have a copy, but there is some change in your. Go up one more. Down one more. That PIVA. There you go. It may be kind of hard to see on these monitors, but your current plan designs with PIVA are they're across the board changes within PIVA. And you can see basically your $490 PPO plan is going to a $515 deductible. The $3,600 high deductible plan is going to a $4,000 plan, or $4,000 deductible, excuse me. Slight change in your co-pays and such, but we try to line this all up as best we can, apples to apples, on the following pages that I'll get to. The bottom of this page actually shows the full bill premiums current compared to renewal. And that results in a 21.14% change in annual premium of $288,258. That's based on current enrollment. Obviously, if that enrollment changes from month to month, that could fluctuate. one carrier, so we went out to, all of our fully insured markets. We went to Blue Cross, we went to Blue Choice, United Healthcare, Cigna, and Aetna. And Aetna was the front runner, in competing and proposing, an option for you guys. Again, Aetna has a unique program put together with Prisma. The short of it, you'll flip one page there, Tommy, one down. What we started out with is comparing your plan apples to apples, and you see some red there, which is a little bit of differences. But they quoted us a $500 deductible versus the $515, and then they match your $3,500 deductible right in line with what you guys have now without a change. But Aetna's program, they can do it one of two ways. They can actually quote everything apples to apples, just like you have now. Their offer on the table is actually right at the renewal offer. It's about $2,000 a year better. But one thing that we felt actually might be a best fit for you guys is you can still offer these plans, but if you'll flip one more page, Tommy, this is what they call the Aetna Whole Health Model. Well, it got even tinier, I'm sorry. So the Aetna Whole Health Model essentially gives employees an option to go into a Prisma facility or a non-Prisma facility. A non-Prisma facility would result in a little bit less benefit. In this case, on the PPO plan, it's $750 deductible. But if they went to a Prisma facility, they would keep the $500 deductible. Now that cross accumulates. So one example that Tommy and I talked about was I go to a dermatologist that is not a Prisma facility, but my primary care physician is Prisma. So in that one instance, I would have some cross accumulation over to where that would still fit in the, if you want to call it, the Aetna Whole Health Prisma model. But this is designed to give employees choice. They do not have to take this option. This is actually a cheaper plan design option by the result of around about 4% differential in the two, and 8% differential if you think of the full bill premium. But you could set this up to where this could be your base plan offering. The employees wanted to buy up to not having to choose which facility to go to, they could do so. And then you still have that high deductible health plan offering as well on the table. But again, sorry the bottom of that's cut off, but we can definitely send that out to you to see the differences in there. But again, price matters, we get that. We're not making a huge splash here with savings, but we do feel like we can help you guys from a accessibility to helping your employees and your retirees out. I know sometimes when you're approaching that age, from a retiree standpoint, you don't know where to turn, where to go to for help. That's what we're here for. It can even further help options outside of the group plan that you guys would have here with individual policies, with Medicare supplements, all things of that nature as well. But we feel like there's value in the broker service model by having access to different communications, having some help internally. We're not going to replace an HR department. We're not going to replace the finance department, but we definitely are in partnership with our clients to help them muddle through the frustrating times of healthcare that we all feel like we just continue to be in with rising healthcare costs. So, any questions?
Travis, you mentioned the 21% increase.
Yes, sir.
Was that PIBA?
That is people. Yes, sir.
Anticipated increase?
Yes, sir. There was an
for next year?
coming up January of 2023. There's an 18%, 18 and 6.5% load in additional employer rates. The math worked out to be 21%, 21.14. That dollar figure I have is $288,258.
We're in the middle of enrollment now. So if the city were to do this, would it be feasible to do it this year, or are we looking at next year?
You're required, best we understand, you're required a 90-day notice to people to exit. My understanding from Tommy, y'all cannot put this to vote until the next council meeting. This is just a work session, I know, and then you have a meeting here after this. You would have to wait until November. So in the event that it's a vote to move out, we would be looking at a 3/1 effective date. What Aetna has allowed or is providing us is a deductible credit, an out-of-pocket credit model to where any employees that accumulated their deductibles and out of pockets in January and February, they will give us that credit, so employees are kept whole. So then we move out on a 3/1 effective date, and there's flexibility. We can keep it on a 3/1, we can look at moving it back to a 1/1 next year. The options are definitely flexible. So yes, you're an open enrollment coming up in October for FEMA. Whenever if in the event you decided to move that 3/1, we would do another open enrollment, and employees would have access to make it another change if they so desire to do so.
I think the good part about what I call Lisa can answer to it is the help she gets. And if you have to make a phone call, people, you're not gonna get to anybody. But if you call him, or Blue Cross.
We've got employees stay on the phone for 45 minutes to try to get answers on why their insurance hadn't paid the doctor or whatever. No personal touch there versus, I remember in the past, to be refreshed on that, they come in and help Lisa sign people up, answer questions. We're far from insurance experts here. And also, if they have a problem with the bill, we can put our hands on him or whoever to get an answer. Versus staying on the phone for 45 minutes trying to talk to somebody. So it's gotten a whole lot worse, I know.
All right. You got anything to add to it? Anybody have any questions? Any more questions? Good. Can you send those PowerPoints?
I got it, I think
format?
we just converted to that, it must have not, I can forward.
I'll send you the Excel tonight.
Do that.
Maybe PDF will be cleaner.
And that way I can forward it to all council
Can you forward
members.
that on the
City attorney.
My apologies for that.
Uh,
I thought the PowerPoint was.
I'm sure it's probably on me.
No, I called Tom today, I said, what's the best way to bring this in, which format? So we were, neither one of us want to make sure we're not technology overly savvy here, so. Anything else?
No more questions?
Travis,
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Right, y'all have a good night.
Agenda items, we have to talk about is the ordinance number 2022-25, and that is for the fire department's budget. And I'll turn that over to the fire chief to explain to you what this is.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council. I brought this up last meeting, and the one thing that we learned following the meeting is that because we have to pay for the funds and then being reimbursed by the grant, it requires a budget amendment. So what we present tonight is the same thing I explained last month. The grant that we got from the Healthcare Coalition, it is a 100% grant. There are no matching funds from us. We just have to expend the funds and then get reimbursed by the Healthcare Coalition. The amount's $106,465. Nothing else has changed. It's the same grant I briefed on last month. If you have questions, I'm glad. Yes, ma'am.
Could you refresh my memory and what is this grant for?
Absolutely, ma'am. The grant is for communications and sustainability, because you know the fire department serves as the Emergency Operations Center in the city in the event of a disaster, emergency, whatever. And so we applied for a grant based on lessons learned out of the January snowstorm for some connectivity, data sharing, and EOC type equipment. Would you like me to read it specifically what each item is, or is that good?
No. Do we have a breakdown of that?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to have a copy of it.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Any more questions?
Thank you.
Item B, ordinance number 2022-26. It is the borrowing of funds for combined utilities, and I will turn it over to our representatives.
Sure. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, Mac, I will recuse myself from voting on this matter when it comes before council later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the way the law is set up in the state of South Carolina, for a commission of public works, like you can combine to borrow money, City council has to pass a bond ordinance. It's a revenue bond ordinance. The bond and the debt services to be repaid with the revenues of the combined utility system. So we've done several of these over the years. The general bond ordinance was actually passed in 1999. I think this is the 15th supplemental ordinance that's before you tonight. It's to borrow not to exceed $4.1 million from the state revolving loan fund. Now, we've actually got a bid in, the bid's 3.2 and change. They give us the leeway in case whatever happens when we actually do the construction of this thing. It is for the upgrade of the headworks of Middle Branch wastewater treatment plant. Middle Branch is our largest plant. It's located just outside of Pickens County and Anderson County on Old Pendleton Road. It's a 3.5 million gallon a day plant. The headworks has been in operation since probably 86, 87 when the plant was built. It's reached end of life. It needs upgrading for efficiency's sake. Never had grit removal. We'll put grit removal in there. It's the first line of treatment in all the sewage. It removes all the inert matter. So it's designed to be able to accommodate the expansion of the plant if that ever happens down the road. There's no concrete plans for that, but this is something that needs to be done so that we can maintain our operations and plan for expansion in the future. And the term of the debt's 20 years. Everybody's read interest rates. This interest rates have to be 1.5%. So if you've seen what's going on in the world, it's going north. We've actually locked this in, so it's a very big deal. So anyway, this requires two readings of an ordinance from the city council. My commission, the commission of Easley combined, actually passed a resolution last month formally requesting the city pass this ordinance. So anyway, that's a summary of what we got here. I'll be glad to entertain any questions.
Well, I do have some questions. Are you increasing the capacity at Middle Branch?
Not with this.
Not with this.
It will accommodate an increase in capacity. This is just the first line of treatment. It's called the headworks. All the inert, non-biological material is taken out, the grit, and just the plastics and whatever will not be treated biologically is removed with the headworks. It is being designed for 6 million gallons a day, so it can accommodate an expansion down the road, but this will not increase the capacity of the plant in its entirety, only the headworks.
You could ask us for 2.5 million of the ARPA funds.
I could, or
You did.
I did, yes ma'am.
Yeah. And we did not
That's correct.
give that to you. Now I'm seeing you need 4.1. Why is the change?
As I said, we've received bids for $3.2 million. 4.1 is just the head. It gives us, in case more costs come in. For example, we pay for all the engineering out of pocket. We can refund ourselves that money if we so choose. We haven't decided yet. But it's just for a little bit of breathing room in case the cost of the project goes higher. We don't have to come back and get any authorization. So the way SRF works, they only give you the money that you expend. You have to expend, you don't actually expend it first. The project's done, you send the invoice to them. So they only pay for what actually is done. So we will not be borrowing 4.1. That is a ceiling.
Okay. I did not get that from what I read.
I apologize. I think I tried to hit on that in my comments.
Yeah, I had another one. Wait a minute, hang on. Will this repayment be spread among all of the utility customers, or will it be for those people who are served by Middle Branch?
The way we recover our sewer costs is for all sewer customers. Okay, we have 3 plants. We actually have 4. Entitled us to 4. But the way we do it right now, all of our sewer customers pay for all the sewer costs, not just the Middle Branch customers.
So it would be spread over the
That's correct.
entire service area.
For all sewer customers, not water and electric, just sewer. Yes.
So it'd be an increase on the sewer bill for that. Okay. You say it will accommodate future growth. What you're putting in now will allow Middle Branch to accommodate future growth when it's needed.
That's correct. There's several portions or areas of the sewer plant. This is the headworks, there's biological treatment, there's disinfection, there's aeration, the whole bit. Each one of these things have to be of the appropriate size for DHEC to give you that capacity. This is the first step, and it is gonna be a 6 million gallon a day capacity. They will not upgrade the rest of the plant until the rest of the plant is upgraded. So it accommodates and plans for an upgrade.
So you're anticipating, you're planning for upgrades, but we're not making that upgrade at this point?
That is correct.
Okay, so there is some planning going into this, this is not capricious.
There's a lot of planning going into our sewer system all across the board.
Is the development impact you have only on the water tap fee, or is it on sewer, or how does that work?
We have a sewer capacity fee and a water capacity fee. We have one on each.
Okay. Will any of that impact fee be used to help to offset the cost of this improvement?
Those fees are accounted in our budgeting as a revenue, so it does help with that, yes.
And the amount of that on the sewer part is?
$2,100 per residential unit.
And on the water, it's?
It's close to 21. I never commit to memory what I can look up easily, so it's close to 21.
Okay, all right, so we've got those two. In hearing you do this, will we be hearing shortly that you need a 9 or 8 month moratorium on issuing any annexations, rezonings?
That we need?
Are you gonna be looking for that?
No, our job and our charge is to make sure the capacities of the electric water sewer system are available to meet whatever the demand is. So I'm not looking to come and ask for a moratorium, if that's what you're.
That's exactly what
we're not looking for that. We're working diligently not to happen.
That.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm hearing that there is planning going on and that growth is anticipated.
Yes, ma'am. As we, I think I made aware, hopefully I did, we purchased 500,000 gallons worth of treatment capacity from the Rewas to Orchard Creek in anticipation of growth. And have put in a sewer line underneath 153 in anticipation of growth to offload this plant so we can delay this. So yeah, we're looking at all of our basins.
Seeing all your equipment going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up.
Yes, ma'am. We're trying to stay ahead. We're trying to stay ahead of it.
Thank you, sir.
What capacity are we operating now? Where are we staying?
Middle Branch, 3.5 million gallons a day plant. It has allocated out about 3 or 3.1 million. It actually operates at close to 2.5 million. It keeps a quote unquote a checkbook of how much is allocated out. It thinks 3 is gone. Actually, about 2.5 is what we see on a day-to-day basis. At Middle Branch.
But the people we've got now, we're really capable of handling all of this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, like I said, we're making plans and we're updating them. I am going to have a water system master plan, a sewer master plan done in our next year, in 2023. And that keeps us ahead of the curve. We're evaluating our sewer collection system capacity as we speak now. So it tells us we have to have improvements in our sewer collection system. It all goes together. So.
Well, we want help on that down there on 153, didn't you connect agreement?
Absolutely, yeah. The EPA actually, the administrative EPA came out and had a little press conference back in February. I think y'all was kind enough to come and be attentive to that and appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your watching for us and anticipating that there will be growth.
No, that's our job. We're in great shape with the electric system. Water system, we're in good shape, although we still got the sewer is really tough because it's very expensive. It costs a lot of money for a little capacity, and that's just something you got to manage and work hard for. So.
It seems to me that in the spring, you were talking about Middle Branch being at 89% committed capacity.
That's probably the 3 over the 3.5, yeah, 3.1. Now, some of that because we had put into effect or transferred some load and flow from Middle Branch over to Georges Creek Rewa. Some of that has been transferred or will be transferred. So we actually be able to take some off of Middle Branch and transfer it over to the Georges Creek capacity that we own in the Rewild Georges Creek plant. So that helps Middle Branch out, gives us more headroom.
So instead of looking at 11% available, we may be looking at something that is more than
Higher. That was the idea when we purchased that 5 or 6 years ago, and the idea when we actually put that line underneath the Creighton Creek line underneath 153. The idea was to shift some of the load from Middle Branch over there to give us more growth down at Middle Branch.
Is almost all of that gravity flow, or do you have series of pump stations?
All of this gravity. We were actually pumping, and we were able to decommission a pump station when we transferred the flow. We did that on August the 11th.
That's a plus.
Oh, that's always a plus. Yeah. That's always a point of failure, you know, pump stations. And we've got our share of pump stations. So.
Isn't that part of it, where, president's office of federal give that grant that day, when was that? In the line card in the woods?
That's where
That's where we were.
Down the line.
We were hoping it was gonna come with the grant, but it never did. But anyway, we tried.
Being constructed, yes.
But we had a federal grant there, for that.
Wasn't a grant, well, let's see, was that a grant there? We did have RIA money, yes, rural infrastructure and CDBG grant, we did. It paid for a portion of it. I think that was right. Anyway, we've had several RIA grants and CDBG grants over the years to help us with our sewer plant. Be glad to entertain you more. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to know if, with the city, I guess gearing up, we should be getting the other ARPA installment soon. With those funds available, would that, and if the city was willing to honor your initial request for $2.5 million, would that forego the need for this loan?
We certainly all said it. However, we've got now that, say the ship has sailed, we have already got a contractor to bid on this.
Mm-hmm.
As everybody knows, our prices are going up.
Yes.
I'm afraid if we let that bid lapse,
Mm-hmm.
we went back and did it again, I don't know what we would see in prices. So the terms on this loan are very good, 1.5%. And once we were not successful in getting the request earlier this year, this is the way that we chose to go, and I would encourage us to continue down this path. I mean, if it's money that you don't have to pay back good, absolutely, but I'm afraid the price now is going, we won't get $3.2 million.
Well, I mean, sadly, that's the decision that the city made not to do that, but we had a price increase on sewer earlier this year.
We did?
What is the current schedule, which I think that you would have factored in your budget as far as rate increases prior to this?
So, because our flow that goes to REWA, because REWA charges quite a bit more than we do,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to have to increase our sewer rates. I believe last year they were around 5 to 6%, and we've got that baked into the budget, at least for a portion for the next 3 or 4 years, so that the customers going to REWA will actually pay what it costs to be served by REWA. If we didn't do that, then our existing customers will be subsidizing the REWA customers because they charge quite a bit more than what we charge. So we did put that into effect last year over a 6-year term, I think. I was thinking 5 or 6. We did it last year. So we got probably 5 or 6% scheduled for the next 4 or 5 years for them. Now for this, it's not baked in. This is going to cost about $200,000 a year. $3.5 million at 1.5% for 20 years. It's about $220,000 a year. In our budget, without wanting to be quoted, we may be able to incorporate that with our growth. It's just got to be something we look at when we start putting our budget together this year. So.
I just know all the financial reports that you hear, we're in a recession. Whether you want to call it a recession, or maybe it hasn't met the technical terms,
right.
But we already have people in the city of Easley that are having trouble with housing, paying their rent, paying their electric fees, and I guess probably you have customers that are calling, and you know, I'm just trying to explore every option.
Sure.
And I appreciate, you sharing this information with us, because your letter in January to the council was, I mean, it was so appropriate, and it was so, it is our tax money that was sent back to the city to help the infrastructure to offset costs of our taxpayers. And our taxpayers, I mean, people, just for the general public, don't understand that when an entity such as a utility, your income is derived from customers. So when you have expenses, those costs are passed on to the customers.
Right.
And it's been my position in January, it's also my position again, that those funds should go for this expansion, to cover the cost of all of this growth that has come into the city. There were just two things, and one in particular, and perhaps I missed it, on page 5, where it has pursuant to resolution 2022 adopted September 12th, which was last month. I was a little confused because we didn't have any resolutions on the agenda last month, and resolution 2022, and I apologize for not mentioning this earlier, but I just found out today, and researching, resolution 2022-02 was to designate April Fair Housing Month in Easley.
That was an Easley Combined Utilities resolution.
Easley Combined Utilities resolution.
Yes, and I
Okay.
mentioned the resolution earlier, but that was ECU's resolution that we passed last month in our meeting this month.
Well, no, that is helpful.
Yeah, and that's
Okay.
our, that's to memorialize the commission's official request of the city to pass the bond ordinance.
Okay. And only a clerical matter on page 4, the resolution that was discussed, it was discussed in April, and it was on the agenda, not March. But I still request that this council consider, using the taxpayers' funds for the purpose for which it was intended to benefit the taxpayers, because we have a lot of people on fixed income and low income residents in our city that are struggling now. And I would like to see the ARPA funds used that way. Thank you.
I just want to mention on the ARPA funds, I'm on the committee of that if you use, that's the taxpayers' money of the citizens' fees, is what you just said. This is also paying for sewer outside the city, people using sewer outside the city. It's not just city. County got ARPA money too. They could come in and pay for some of that. The taxpayers are not paying for all this in the city, because that's not the only ones benefiting from it. And we did vote to help the people that were poor from housing. We paid some loans off, which some of our council disagreed, I think. But we paid those loans off to help those people. We're not ignoring people. We're trying our best to help them, everything we can do. But when you look into these facts, you gotta go all the way to the end of the fact, not dig into this little bit and say, oh, I got it. Then present it. Look all the way.
No, we certainly made that request. The city acted on that. We accepted their decision, and this is the next best way for us. And like I said, $1.5 million that's pretty good. So we certainly accepted what the city's decision was and chose our next best path. So yeah, we're comfortable with this, and we certainly encourage city council to adopt it. And I'll answer any more questions that I can. I will not be here at the council meeting any 7th. Who knows more than I do? Will be here to answer questions.
You just trained him, didn't you?
Well, yeah, he just prepared. So hopefully we can answer everything here. If not, he'll take care of it. So, thank you. I'm going to excuse myself.
Joel, thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Item C is ordinance number 2022-27 to separate the office of city clerk and treasurer. And I'm gonna turn that over to our attorney, just speak on.
Yes, sir, thank you. I believe this comes at the suggestion of our present city clerk, Lisa. The present ordinance has both a combined ordinance for city clerk and city treasurer. She's never exercised these duties, as I understand it, under treasurer. And that was for the previous administration and for this administration. In my research, I can't find where we're required to have a particular city treasurer. That's sort of, those duties are sort of divided between the finance department, and for the court system, that'd be the court clerk. So, at her request and suggestion, we've amended the this ordinance 31.01 to encompass what she performs.
Anyone have any questions about that? All right, thank you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
We have a resolution that will be introduced tonight, 2022-10, proclaiming October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And Ms. Pat has graciously said she would read that when we come to the council meeting. So we thank you for that. Resolution number 2022-11, proclaiming October as Fire Prevention Month. And I think the chief has an update on that prior to getting to the council meeting. You'll wait for the council meeting. Okay, all right, thank you. Item F is approval of Planning Commission and Zoning Board Appeals.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we, through COVID, through time, we've let some stuff expire, and we're trying to get caught back up here, but we're presenting tonight on your behalf, Mayor, to the council for approval, the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals. You'll see their ending dates after each name, and that's what we will present to you tonight, so we can move on with the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals to meet and get fully approved. We'd be glad to entertain any questions.
Questions?
Is there a way that I can have a printout of that before we get to the council meeting?
Lisa, we don't have a printout of them.
It's on the agenda, it just doesn't have the dates.
You want the date?
It's on the agenda.
Can you take a picture with your phone?
Yeah, I can't promise, because we are meeting after this and go down there, so I'm not gonna promise you.
It's on the agenda.
I
Yeah,
know
just write it
their
on your
names
agenda.
are on the agenda. I wanted to just get the dates. But
I
that's
think
fine.
I can give them to you, I can.
Okay, that's fine, Lisa, thank you.
All right, item 4 is project update on the class and comp study.
Yeah, we sent out for bids on the class and comp. As you remember when we worked on the budget, we was gonna hire somebody to come in and give us a review of our class and comp for the employees. We received 6 bids, packets on this. I will be giving them out to the mayor and to Lisa, and we'll sit down and go through them and present to y'all what we feel like is the right one that will give us what we need to move on with the survey of the class and comp.
And a question on that, I believe I asked it before, but in the event that could have changed, is education and experience going to be a part of this classification and comp study?
We'll have to meet with whoever gets the approved to review that and see what they recommend.
Well, is that in the terms of the bid? Because that would be a component that would have to be factored in as far as the bidding
In
process.
terms of the bid, it was for them to, this is 6 professional agencies that give class and comp, and we did not spell out education and all that. We asked them to write us a detailed job descriptions and give us a class and comp for the employees.
They use the job description that we have on hand, and that's what they go by.
Thank you.
Update on Haygood Park.
Kristen's not here. we've been waiting for a surveyor, and we spoke with him today by email, and he should have something hopefully within a week, and then we'll start working on the process of the design. We'll do that in-house.
All right, council discussions, anyone have anything to be brought before the body?
Oh, I do have a question. I think I may have sorted this out. Are we still accepting applications for administrator?
No, I don't think so at this time. We may have to open it back up because we've had several that backed out on us.
Okay, now,
We'll probably
is
have
it
to
going
open
to
it
be
back up.
listed on mask again because it's not on there?
If,
Okay.
yeah, if we do it, yes, that's right.
Now, I saw posted on our webpage, we have a finance manager position, and I'm just kind of trying to sort that out. So, what's happening with that position?
We have several people we've entered that have put in-house for her job.
Okay,
So that, I think that will open up.
which that
some
pretty much
positions.
narrows it down, so, that's why we have the finance, okay. Helpful. Stormwater and, because I understand when is, a retiring building official position going to be posted?
That probably will be posted to another.
Okay,
And Mayor and Council, just so you know, we have 2 police officer jobs being posted, and we have, I think, a firefighter, 3 or 4 public work jobs, and, 1 from the rec. So we're across the board on everybody that's having jobs applying for.
and stormwater, where are we, have we received any applications for that?
I don't know if you're ready to talk about that or not.
I'm not ready to talk.
Okay.
In the interim, Eddie and myself are tag team in that.
It's moving along real good.
No, it's still posted,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Any other questions?
Mayor, any update on, timeframe on updating our, land development regulations? Have we had discussion?
Those are my next on my list. I finished off the easier of the two, which is the zoning ordinance, because that zoning ordinance had already been where I could, make it into a Word document. The other one is going to be more difficult because it's a PDF of a PDF basically. So there's no way to edit it. So I'll either have to retype it or find some template I can use to work on it. But that's next on my list. I've prepared a draft of the zoning, and that should be ready to go anytime.
Thank you.
Hope by end of mid-November, end of November.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I move that we, go into executive session.
Have a motion, second.
Got a lot of witnesses there. Hey,
It's spotted me.
hey, at some point, I gotta talk, I wanna, ask you a question about,
Go step in my office.
Lloyd Harris, good to see you. Randolph Gordon, Funky Monkey, Buzz. Truth, Bob. Yeah, you talking crap. Well, all right. That was the working city hall meeting before the main meeting at 7 o'clock. So right now, I'm going to meet Rogue Nation, and we'll see y'all later. Everybody that came in, I really appreciate it. please hit the like button. I mean, YouTube don't like me. They shadow ban me. They will not monetize me. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and they will not monetize me. So any donations or whatever, I sure would appreciate it, because this crap is not cheap. I'll see y'all in a little while. God bless. Bye-bye.